Welcome to Standard 2A. This is my first attempt at recording one of these, and it's a little strange looking at myself and not a class of students, but we'll give this a shot and see how it goes. The goal of Standard 2A is to locate major states and empires in the world roughly 500 years ago, around 1500 AD. If you aren't familiar with that notation, CE, it occurs in the standards now and then. It refers to the current era, okay, the current period of time, and it means the same thing as AD. So 500 years ago in 1500 AD, where were the major states and empires in the world? The understanding that we need to know for this standard is that 500 years ago there were major states and empires in various regions around the world. Just the same as today you can look at a map of the world and pick out the United States and Russia and China and other countries that play a major part in world affairs. The same thing was true 500 years ago. Not all of those were the same as they are today. Some still exist and some have disappeared. But we want to be able to locate where they were located 500 years ago. The question, if you're wondering what do I need to be able to do at the end of this recording, you need to be able to locate those states and empires on a map. At this point, you should be able to close your eyes and picture what the world looks like. The shapes of the continents should be in your mind, and you then need to be able to kind of place, okay, I know where that empire is, I know where that state was located. Okay, you might be wondering which states do we need to know. Fortunately, the standard is very clear on which ones we need to be able to locate. Not only that, it also breaks them down by geography, so we kind of have some built-in organization here by hemisphere. In the Western Hemisphere, the standards want us to know where the Aztecs and Incas were located. That's not to say that the Aztecs and Incas were the only states or empires. They weren't the only people living in the Western Hemisphere. It's just saying that those are the only two states in the Western Hemisphere that we need to locate on a map in the year 1500. We have a much longer list in the Eastern Hemisphere. We see here England, France, Spain, and Russia all located in Europe. The Ottoman Empire, which was partially in Europe but also in Asia and Africa. We have Persia, China, and Mughal India, which were all located in Asia. And we have the Songhai Empire, which was located in Africa. Okay, just to make sure everybody's clear, by Western Hemisphere, we're referring here to North and South America. So the states and empires we're responsible for knowing in the Western Hemisphere, the first was the Aztec Empire. Okay, and the Aztecs were located in modern-day Mexico. The Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, in fact, was located on the modern Mexican capital, the site of the modern-day capital of Mexico. And from there, Aztec power spread out from central Mexico into southern Mexico and into Central America. So we got the Aztec Empire here. The next empire we need to know in the Western Hemisphere were the Incas. And the Incan Empire extended down the west coast of South America, located high up in the Andes Mountains of South America. The Incas built a very extensive and impressive empire. Okay, so the Incas in South America. For our purposes, the Eastern Hemisphere is going to consist of Africa, of Asia, of Australia, and of Europe. And I know some of you are sitting here wondering where Antarctica fits into this. We'll just keep to the continents on which civilizations have developed. No offense to Antarctica, but none of our major states or empires are developing there. We'll move from west to east here across Africa and Asia. We'll start here with the Songhai Empire, and in your World 1 course you learned about Ghana and Mali. The Songhai Empire by 1500 had developed where those empires had once been. Those empires had declined, and the Songhai Empire had taken over in that region of Western Africa. If we move north from the Songhai Empire, okay, so if the Songhai was down around here, and we move up a little further north across the Sahara Desert into North Africa, and we extend across North Africa into southwestern Asia, or what we would consider the Middle East today, and then up into southeastern Europe. All of this here was the Ottoman Empire. To link this to your World I class, this is largely what once was the Eastern Roman Empire. And all of this kind of surrounded the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, so the Ottoman Empire here, located on 3 continents: Europe, Asia, and Africa. We'll try and keep track of where we've been here. If we had the Songhai Empire, if my mouse will cooperate, Songhai Empire was down around here. We then had the Ottomans stretching across North Africa, the Middle East, and into southeastern Europe. We have next door to the Ottomans the Persian Empire. The Persians are another empire that you learn about in your World I class. You might remember the Persian Wars with the Greeks and Zoroastrianism and Darius. All of that took place in the Persian Empire, but by 1500 the Persian Empire had weakened considerably and shrunk in size to pretty much the boundaries of modern-day Iran. Okay, so that's the area we want to associate with the Persian Empire. Continuing across Asia, moving to the east, next door to the Persian Empire, which would be here. Okay, our Ottoman Empire, which would be in this area here. We're over here in modern-day India for the Mughal Empire. Okay, and India at the time, ruled by the Mughals, also consisted of its modern-day neighbors of Pakistan to the west and Bangladesh to the east. Okay, so here in South Asia we have the Mughal Empire. And then continuing across Asia into Far East Asia, China's just kind of always been. You spent probably up to a month last year in your World I classes learning about China, the dynasties, the Great Wall, Confucianism. China by 1500, we're looking at modern China's boundaries today. Some boundary changes still to take place, but China in 1500 is roughly the area that we see here on the map. The same is not true for our next major state, which was Russia. We're looking here in the dark green at modern Russia, but Russia 500 years ago wasn't the biggest country in the world land-wise that it is today. Russia 500 years ago is really just this area here in the circle. It's the far western part of modern-day Russia. So Russia was developing in 1500 around the cities of Moscow and Kiev, and during this course Russia will continue to expand off to the east until it takes its modern form, its modern shape and boundaries that we see on the map here. Moving into the rest of Europe, England, a lot of this course is going to take place in England and in places that England influences. So it's important for us to know where England is located. England is located on an island called Britain. We'll get into the distinctions between Britain and England and United Kingdom later on in the course. For our purposes, in terms of locating England, it's the lower portion of the island of Britain. Okay, we also have Scotland and Wales on that island, but for our purposes, the lower half of that island, located here in the red circle, this is going to be England floating off the coast of Europe. If we drop straight south out of England Okay, into the dark green country here, this is France, located in Western Europe. Another country that by 1500 pretty much assumed its modern day boundaries. We still have some boundary changes to go through with France. We'll see France expand and contract a few times in this class, but we're pretty much looking at modern day France in 1500 in terms of its boundaries. And then we continue moving south through Western Europe. We get to the last state that we need to know, which is Spain. Okay, and Spain, located here on the Iberian Peninsula in Western Europe. It shares that peninsula with its next door neighbor here. My mouse will work. Okay, of Portugal. Both Portugal and Spain play a major part in the Age of Exploration, which comes up early in the course, but the only one that we need to know in terms of locating it for Standard 2A is Spain. As we said earlier, we'll end with this slide, which is the list of the empires and states that we need to know. Like I said, you should be able to close your eyes at this point and picture a map of the world, and then be able to quiz yourself on where these various places are located, where the Aztecs were on that map, where the Incas were located on that map. Okay, so hopefully this helped. We'll go over some more in class, but we'll go ahead and stop here.